Hey, Skiba News Nation family, we have a very special guest today. But before we have him on, I want to give a quick little backstory. So on October 7th, 2023, a couple days after we did a show with my friend Nir Shilshani from Esh News, I got this strange, or at the time I thought, this is crazy, this voice message on Facebook. So let's play that clip.
Hey Jeremiah, how are you? Hope everything is fine. Here in Israel, 2 hours ago, just freaking war just started. It's like really crazy over here. It's been sirens and bombings for a few hours now, and also penetration of terrorists inside Israel settlements. Anyway, big news. I was just thinking about you. I was talking to my friends. And if you want kind of like a news flash of what's going on over here on the truth side of it versus what's going on mainstream media, and if you wanted to be part of Skiba's News Nation, so give me a call or something like that, contact with me, and I'll be happy to do so. If you hear now, there's another siren going on right now. Crazy. Whoa, bombings. Anyway, take care, Jeremiah. Hopefully you're doing well.
So after I heard that, I was freaking out, and then I saw an alert on my phone telling me what was happening, and so we kept in constant communication. We had a YouTube live, and it went really well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here's Nir Shilshani with Esh News. How you doing?
Hello. Hey everyone. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Jeremiah and Jake, and all the Skiba News family, News Nation family. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Okay, physically right now, and happy that I am, thanks to God. And when you described now our conversations and connection throughout the week, I first of all had this feeling of deep faith. Okay, a sense of faith, a sense of a moment which all kinds of links ties up together. Okay, regarding you guys and me and the situation which is currently started, and all of this together. You said, I think, on the previous show that when you have too much coincidences, so it's probably not a coincidence. And so I do believe, so I do feel this sense of faith, and of course I'm not believing in coincidences whatsoever. And of course it's all got to do, of course, with the initial contact that we made. It was of course 2 years ago, but only last week. Again, destiny summoned us that we will meet up and we'll have a show together. And it was a great show. I enjoyed it a lot. But at the end of the show, we kind of started planning up. Yeah, we'll do all kinds of cooperation. We'll talk soon. We'll do some stuff. And little did we know that we will meet up. And God has pretty much of good plans, okay, and very good, sense of irony and humor. So I think that this is what led us to this point, and it goes like that with any other truther that I met along the way, okay, which is it seemed to be like a coincidence, something was happening that we'd have to connect together, and I think that this has got the kind of God's matchmaking, okay, in all sorts of ways, and especially that, of course, when for me personally, when it's got to do with you, with all the connection to your father, I explained over on our last show the deep meaning that I have, that it has for me, and the deep respect that I feel that I gained with closing the circle with Rob, your father, and beginning a new circle as a friend with you, Jeremiah, and with you, Jake. And it's I think that those are like the prophets and the things that you can't really think of once you start doing a thing from different cause. Okay, you got like kind of like gaining these different benefits like friends and care and love, and of course all the prayers that I got over this week from the Skiba News Nation family, which really warmed my heart. And as I wrote down in the letter, and besides that, like if you remember on Saturday, I was telling the story of how I managed to, I know how God saved me from getting into this area of the invasion on Saturday morning. And after I shared that with you, Jeremiah, you told me that it should tell you now that God has a purpose for you. And that sentence kind of like sat down in my head the whole week. Yeah, it's one of those purposes, okay, is being fulfilled in these moments, okay, that I will stay alive and get down to this show over here, and I will say what I wanted to say to you guys. So everything works out pretty well, although we are living in a current situation which is very grim, terrible, and I don't know which kind of like adjective I would add to it. But still, I do believe that once things are grim and dark over here in the physical realm and on Earth down below, there are things which are good and optimistic and giving hope, which are happening on the spiritual realm. And we should like gain our force and hope and all the things that we want to do in order to cope with our terrible reality, to get inspiration from what's going on over there in the spiritual realm. And I will elaborate about it on our show.
All right. Well, do you want to take it away? I'll give you the stage, and you just tell us what you want to tell us and what's happening and all that.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. I will first off begin with my statement. Okay. Usually, if I'm beginning a show where I'm feeling I'm a little bit on the limb over here or something like that, and someone is going to watch my show and be angry, so I'm giving my legal segment that nobody should be offended, that I'm not meaning anything, and all of that. But here it's something else today, because I'm before I will start my saying, I want to humble myself. And first off, before God, if I'm saying throughout this show anything wrong on His behalf, I'm sorry for that. I'm only sharing my thoughts and feelings the way God is letting me to sense them. And besides that, I want to humble myself also before you, Jeremiah and Jake, and before the audiences. You have a free choice and will to decide whether or not to believe if what I'm saying is right or wrong. And if I'm not, and I'm not trying to affect your opinion and your beliefs in any way, I'm not a salesman, I'm not a leader of any sort, and and if something seems wrong with what I said, you are welcome to check it yourselves or discuss it with me. You asked me, Jeremiah, to report to you what's going on in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the name of reporting, okay, it's kind of like scared me in the beginning, okay, because reporting is usually what the news are doing, right? The news, the media.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do.
And sorry?
That's what they're supposed to do, but oftentimes they don't.
Yeah, and we'll discuss also like the name of the news later on, and we'll get to the bottom of this. And they're supposed to, they usually reporting us everything, and I don't feel myself as a reporter. Okay, I'm not on ground. Okay, I'm not like in field and telling you here this is the events which are happening right now. Okay, no, I'm not. I kind of like told you that any kind of like action that I do, usually it's versus the institution and everything. So I'm not dumb enough to start a fight with them on ground. Okay, I know that I will lose this battle. So I like to stick it in the air realm with values that I much more know and appreciate, and they are like my working tools. Values like information and love and caring and imagination and creativity and things like that, which are belonging to the air realm, the air element. And so what I'm gonna mainly what I'm gonna report to you today would be on different levels than the physical one. I truly do believe that if you want to be updated on what's happening on the physical level right now in Israel, with what's going on with the two sides and how many casualties and how many kidnaps and what's going to be and what's the plans and all of that, open the mainstream media or like the I don't know websites of the news or whatever and be updated. I'm not in any way come here to dispute the numbers. I know that like in 9/11 and things like that, there's all kinds of like researchers about the numbers and things like that. In that case, I'm not disputing the numbers. I do believe that everyone, which is like that the numbers are correct about anyone who got killed or been kidnapped, and so I'm less like being involved in that aspect over this in this show. I can report to you about. I will report to you briefly, okay, about the conspiracy side of things, which is also the conspiracy side of things. It's also like an earthly report, okay.
Okay.
It's an earthly report about what's going on, the lies and the deception and what I think actually led us down to this situation. So over that, I will go through it now, just a little bit like briefly, and I will tell you my opinion about it. Okay, I think that the problem, like in Israel nowadays, that all the people are pretty much like heartbroken and miserable and helpless, is mainly coming out of a very very strong conflict that they hold in their head right now, while watching the scenes and the things from Saturday. And the conflict is from what they're seeing in their own eyes and senses and what they understand with their own logic about this invasion and how it could have happened. And they know that this invasion could have not happened without the assistance of lots and lots of factors inside the Israeli army and the Israeli politics and the Israeli, of course, intelligence and all kinds of like bodies that they should have known, should have protected, should have done something that this thing wouldn't have happened. Okay, so you got on one side this kind of like weird like seeing something which is not makes any sense unless there is like a treason. Okay, and on the other hand, the way that Israelis and I don't know how it's true to other nations in the world, but Israelis trust their government, trust their the institution, and since the moment they are born, they know that this institution, this country, Israel, will take care of them. Okay, no matter what, and they can't accept in their mind that these two realities are existing. Okay, that both my country taking care of me and my country will betray me. So this dissonance is this is what drives people nuts these days. This is what I think. Okay, because like from I will tell you and the viewers I would try to save with information about the intelligence side of thing regarding the IDF preparedness towards an invasion like that. A second. From my personal experience, and I would tell you that, and I also told you that on Saturday, that the motto of the Israeli intelligence is that what happened exactly 50 years ago in the Yom Kippur War in 1973 won't happen again. It won't happen. It won't happen because we have a whole corp over here, and we have whole bases spread out through all the borders that gather information about the enemy, and our worst dream ever that will never happen is that we will have another Yom Kippur War. And all the methods of the working of the army and everything based on that assumption, okay? On that assumption, on that work which is being made every day to gather information. And what I know that in order to that this kind of like invasion, which was planned probably for months before, will be happening without the Israeli intelligence know about it, I will tell you, from my personal experience and knowledge, it is not possible. Okay, just not possible, because I know the aims of I know the technology of the intelligence, which was 25 years ago. Okay, since then I wasn't like updating what I got and everything. I would imagine if they're not like NASA, they would advance in their technology. You know, they would go forward in their technology, and therefore they will have better technology than they have right now, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I would assume that that with better technology they could know about it. Okay, what was going on. More than that, I would imagine the tons and tons of information that was gathered about it, and we'd had to take so much efforts in order to dispose of it, and disregard it, and to ignore it. It looks to me like a hard work to ignore it. Okay, that there will be so much information, and no one would. And there have to be someone that will once you're getting something like information about this and this, and trash it away. So it's this thing doesn't make sense regarding the conspiracy side, and also like this is regarding the intelligence, and I want to give also like the aspect of and the security aspect, where there is like lots of people going online on Facebook and with videos and saying, hey, I know the places that they're showing now in television. I used to guard there for like 3 years in the army, and I know for certain fact that once there's like a flea going down 2 kilometers away from the fence, all the army which is like surrounding the Gaza border, on their feet, full gear, ready to go. Okay, getting inside Gaza Strip to check out the flea. Okay, so thousands of people, vehicles, all those things got in and out several times from Gaza Strip. Getting the captives, getting it back, getting to get more captives, getting them back. All of this, like without the army knowing about it and doing anything about it. Anyway, it's for me, to take that in for other people to take that in sense, okay. It can drive you mad, okay? I'm for myself, when I'm like, when I think that I know, again, humbling myself, I think that I know the forces which are involved with that. It's so easy, okay? It's so easy. Yeah, what went down over there? And the thing is that this conflict is which have in people's mind right now. Lots of people can handle this conflict with burying your head in the sand. Okay, my mother is telling me, told me in the COVID time. I remember she told me, "Yeah, I have like a floor, like a square floor. This is what all I'm interesting about. I'm not interested about anything." And yeah, maybe it was okay for the COVID time, okay, but now you can bury your head in the sand and you still have this conflict in your head, okay, and the only way for you to start understanding and start resolving this conflict and start accepting it is to understand the forces which are behind it. And I will give now in this part of the show the biggest assumption or like baseline that I'm gonna go on for the rest of the show, and is that this war and all that got to do with it, and all the events and things that happened in the last years in the world, okay, all the crises, all the terrible disasters, it's a spiritual war.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spiritual war which is happening, okay? We here on ground only get the reflections of it, how it looks like in reality on ground, while the actual war is being made right now as we speak in different levels, with different entities, and with forces that we can't understand them, okay? That we can understand them. And to be honest, once I personally got this grasp of understanding that this is not an earthly war and this is a spiritual war, it gave me a lot of comfort. Okay, it gave me a lot of comfort. For the first, the level of cruelty and terrible things that I was exposed to during the last few days. I tell you what. Also, like I told Jeremiah on Saturday, I watched television until like something 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then in a decision of a moment, I kind of closed down the television and then went out from all kind of WhatsApp groups of news and stuff that I know that they're publishing the videos and everything, and decided that I just couldn't contain the pain. I couldn't contain the images. I know I saw 2 videos, and since I saw them, the images are running through my head, and I can't. It's really impossible to get them out. So I figured for myself that I will do myself a favor and disconnect myself for my mental health, okay, and future and whatever emotional scars that I want to prevent of myself. I shouldn't be exposed for that, and so does my children, my family, and I think everyone with a sane mind, okay, should really stay away from that. And also, it's the other reason that I'm, and it's kind of connected to the conspiracy side. The other reason that I'm advising people to stay away from the television and all the media, the mainstream media, is not about, as I told you before, it's not about the numbers, okay? It's about the narrative. And the problem with the narrative, which is, of course, the narrative won't show you, of course, any kind of investigation or research or anything like that about the absolute, I'm sorry to say that, fuck up that happened, okay? Okay, they will not tell you something like that. They will tell you, yeah, now we need to unite, and we need to stay with each other, and we need to put aside for a second what happened over there. Okay, we're not gonna investigate that. There's no time for that now. We should maybe we'll deal with it afterwards. We should unite now and flatten Gaza. This is kind of like this is the narrative, okay, of the mainstream media, and both like from the left and the wing and the right, okay, and the problem with that narrative, beside that they are like, of course, gonna sweep under the rug anything that they got to do with like investigation of this big, horrible treason, okay. Besides that, the terrible thing about the narrative that they are selling is that this is a narrative that tells you that the war that is going on at this moment is between Jews and Arabs, okay. Jews and Arabs. Why they hate each other? They always hate each other, okay? They have tons of reasons to hate each other. We did horrible things to each other throughout the years, so now they're like escalating and they're hating each other. While this narrative is so similar to any other narrative that is trying to portray to you as war, okay? It's the same war as they try to portray to you between religious and seculars and left and right and vaccinated and unvaccinated and whatever kind of like two groups they can divide us, they will, okay? And they will tell you this group hate this group, okay? While they're doing that in order to hide the real war which is happening since early days of humanity. In order that the ones in control can remain in control, they have to fight. They have to be over the ones on the bottom of the pyramid, in order they will keep on controlling. And this is the ultimate fight that there always been and always will be until those guys will be kicked off the pyramid, the top of the pyramid. And the thing is that the horrible thing is that they really need to create those kind of like crises and those kind of like divisions in order to hide their actions, okay? And if you kind of like realize that, it's very easy to to see the sides and who's your enemy, which is the most critical point in this thing, okay? Like, yeah, we're at war right now. We got like a big slap in the face, a big punch in the belly. So who are we? Who are we fighting? Okay, who's like who should we attack? Are we attacking the one the one that we should? Okay, what is the real war? And with this, I think that this is the conspiracy side that it's like in contrary to like different times in the past, I will tell you that I want to dig down inside this conspiracy and try to figure it out from all its angles and everything. But today, now, I'm pretty much like it feels stupid. Okay, it feels like unnecessary. Yeah, I know their tricks. I know their lies and everything. It's what it will do. Okay, will it return my friends that were killed? Captured? I don't think so. I know I'm planning, yes, to pump up this conspiracy in the ears of people who don't understand it yet. This is what I'm gonna do, okay? But start like being conspiracy theories and start researching it with like every angle that I will know all the information and how they faked it. No, I'm truly like occupied with different things right now, higher things and emotional things, certainly. On Saturday, the main event, the main thing, the main attack that was happening that brought off, I think, to the most casualties and people who kidnapped was right outside the border of Gaza. There was like a big nature party of of people who are. I'm kind of like in the last 4 or 5 years or so. I'm part of this trans community, and I will stop at this moment. I will give clarification to everyone. When I'm saying trans community, it's not the transgender community. All right. It's the trans music community, all right? All right? Everyone got it straight, right? All right. Now, so the trans community is a community which is dear to my heart, pretty much as much as the truthers community that I'm also belonging to. And those people were like in the middle of the party over there when there was the invasion, and people kind of like and they stormed over this party, started killing people, started kidnapping people. I have tons and tons of stories. I've been in the show this week with 007, Richard Avery, and I told all kinds of like stories of people who managed to save, people who were kidnapped. All kinds of stories that I don't want to repeat them at this show, mainly because I emotionally feel it's like too hard for me. And those were the people that I was going to parties with and dancing beside them, and it was like my good times, when I'm going out with friends and. And we shared lots of like moments of happiness and feeling of unity, and so these people are very like dear to my heart. And over like next few days after after Saturday, I started to realize how many people that I know of were in that party. Okay, and that I spent lots and lots of time with them, like in the last few years, and they all poof gone. And it's like, for me personally, in previous events in Israel, I didn't got this much of like personal connection with terror attacks and things like that. Maybe like one or two people that I know of, were killed or injured, like in occasions like that. But in this incident, it was nothing that I could have like imagined and be prepared of and be like experienced before, because there was such a large amount of people that I knew of and everything. And it's all also like. I don't think that, of course, the trans community will ever recover from this incident. I don't know who in their sane mind will ever do or like produce or like go to a party in the next seen future. And I will tell you what, like regarding personally about this community. People will have like criticism about them, like in every day, that dirty, loud, taking too many drugs. I don't know why. They're disturbing people from all sorts of reasons. But I will tell you, like, I'm telling that these claims could be correct, okay? But altogether, I will tell you that something else from my experience from those places. Those people which are like coming together and dance together and having fun and create this sense of unity. After a while in a party, this sense of unity and whatever, it's kind of like morph into something which is physical, okay? It morph into something which is like matter. And this matter is kind of like, I don't know, a light or something like that. And this light, I believe that it spreads down with like to other places and shines the world in some way. Okay, in some way, I believe that this is kind of like energies from people can really do affect, like the same as the prayers that I got from the Skiba's News Nation family this week. I do believe that good energies of people can create and can affect in in a world in different places. I think that just a second. I want to just brief a little bit if I, mentioned everything. And I think that also. Oh yeah. I want to get down a little bit to get back a little bit with as you saw, I reported to you the physical stuff that I reported to you were pretty much basic, and you could get them from any kind of like conspiracy theories that is living in Israel at this moment. And also like with me calling myself Esh News. If you remember on the last show, we talked about that Esh is fire in Hebrew, and of course it's the initials of Flat Earth as well. And we talked about the fire element and about what it represents. Okay, so yes, Esh, my Esh, okay, is actually which represents the energy, is the charisma, the leadership. Okay, and when I'm talking about leadership, I'm talking about, of course, not the leadership which the ones on the tops of the pyramids have, but a leadership which like the torch that Jake mentioned on the last show. Okay, it's a leader that carries a torch on the same level of his people. Okay, he's not sitting high above them, he's on the same level with them. And this is the kind of Esh that I want to take as an example. Also, like regarding flat Earth and in general, for me, it kind of like explained to me the actual, the actual social meaning. Okay, the actual social meaning. With if you look at the geographic structure of the flat Earth, because if you look at it, you can see that all of us are down here below, all of us at the same height, while we have God who's like on the top over here, and between us there's not like other entity or something or like other human or so who's like above the other people that can tell them what to do or something like that. Only God can tell the other people what to do, right? And all the other people should remain on the same height, and no one should take the nerve to put himself and above other person and tell him what to do and what to think and how to behave. And we learned that from Nimrod and from all sorts of others evil guys in the history. So I was talking about the fire, and I want to talk a little bit about the news themselves, because I know that you're kind of like hot on this topic in specific. I couldn't pretty much understood why is it called news? It's usually when you open up the news, it's reporting about things that were already happened, right? So it's not news, right? And if they're like reporting about something, predictions, that's things that will happen in the future, it's usually not that surprising or new, right? It's pretty much expected. So I don't like, I kind of like, denying or like overruling their presumption to call themselves news. And I usually, like, my story with the news and the media, it starts off with what I told you that I learned over in college for 3 years. It was in the north of Tel Aviv, this college, and it was considered like a highly ranked college with all the the people that's supposed to be in the media industry afterwards, and also like the lectures and everything. There's like people from the media. And while being there like for 3 years, the awakening that I got regarding the first rule of media, okay, the first rule of what media is all about, okay, and how they work. And this rule is that you have a square, okay, square, usually it's kind of like the television or something like that. It doesn't matter, but inside the square will be everything that they want you to see inside this square, and what is outside this square you will probably not see ever, okay? Ever, you won't see it, okay? So, and their job is to be really, really tight on what is coming into the square and what is not in the square, okay? And what is like what we keeping outside of the square. And for me personally, I remember like the works that I did during the college years. They were way off the square, and kind of like I couldn't like really find myself inside this square. And once I finished up my degree, I remember like promising myself that no, I will never deal with mainstream media ever again in my life. It's not interesting me. I know there are like tons of liars, and it's not my thing. And they actually so much like depressed me. I used to like love media and dealing with it and doing projects of media since I was a child, and it actually so depressed me with their lies that they got me to cut off my creation for like something like 13-14 years. Okay, I didn't feel like creating anything, okay, until the moment that I stumbled with Jeremiah's dad, and he and once I looked at him and several others which were like him on the time that I woke up to flat Earth. Beside like waking me up to flat Earth, I noticed that like those people are sitting in their homes and they're doing media and they're doing what they want. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, I want this, okay? Mm-hmm. I want this. I want to be able to speak freely of what I want, what's on my mind, without any kind of like being afraid of censorship, without being accountable to nobody except God. And this is this is what I consulted off with your father, and this is what I did. And I'm thanking God that this is where he got me to. Also, like with and once I realized that this is what I want to do, I try to think of the way that I'm going to do it, because telling other people that you are doing true art or true creation, it's pretty much presumption, right? It's pretty much pride. Okay, it's something that it's something that you can't really say you're not certain of it. Okay, what is real art, real creation? What is it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I couldn't like know how to find it, but I found myself kind of like I don't know, a trick or kind of like a method to find it. And if you want to discover the truth, it doesn't matter also like the truth in any kind of like subject in life, all right? In order to find it, first off, you need to go to the lie, research it really good, the lie, and then do 180 degrees, okay, and go the other way. Over there, probably you'll find some truth, okay? You find some truth over there if it's like the opposite thing of the lie. And that's the way that also I started off Esh News, and doing all the things that I did till this point, with the saying that I don't want to be famous, I don't want to be professional. God, I don't want to be professional. I just want to be not like you guys, because I know you guys. You're the worst liars ever. You're the worst creeps that I know. I will be the exact opposite than you, okay? I will bring guests that will never put their feet in your studios, okay? I will make like formats and make times of shows which makes no sense, okay? With what you broadcasted, okay? With all your timetables, and my fonts that I'm gonna use, okay, will be so ridiculously childish and so tacky, which is exactly the opposite from your round, shiny icons, okay? So this is my protest against you guys, okay? And I'm quite proud of it, because that gives me the way, okay? It gives me the way, and it gives me the clues and the direction where to head to with what I'm seeing in reality, and how to create it and to realize it inside my creation. So that's a great gift that I got from God, and I thank Him every day for that, and that gave me the opportunity to do so. And yes, and my reports and my things, if the media will will show in the intro their stupid spinning ball, okay, so I will show on my background my divine godly creation of our earth. And it's and also, like, if I said earlier that they are like focusing on the earth element, so I will bring other elements. I'll bring the fire element. I will bring the air element that I mentioned earlier, with the knowledge and information and content, and I will bring the water element, which is element which is based on feelings and inner world. And those, I think that these are the things that I prefer to present myself with, which is completely the opposite from what you're telling about the mainstream media. Guys, with those, I concluded my first part of today's show. And I'll be happy to answer any kind of like questions that you think are relevant and connected to what I said in the last hour or so.
Well, I'll let my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Grant, ask the first couple questions, if you have any.
Sure. Yeah, Nir, thank you for sharing and being really heartfelt with your approach to the situation there. I know the trauma that's being broadcast all across the world, and especially to Israeli citizens right now, is leaving a lasting impact. I mean, the images and the sounds and all that of what's happening. And oftentimes we find that the system uses trauma to incur more control and more oppression over our lives in whatever way that they see fit. And so I think your approach was really refreshing, and how, yes, we can cover the mainstream numbers, but to look at it from a different angle, I think is something that people are looking for, because you can go to many different sources. And actually, before we were going to do the show, I was going to go through, some different mainstream videos, but I think your approach is much more refreshing, and I like that you did touch on the conspiratorial side of this, and I just think the timing of this whole attack is very interesting. Whenever we look at the week preceding this attack, which fell on the high, holiday of in Israel, as people were celebrating the last day of Sukkot, Simchat Torah. It's
I'll make it difficult for you guys with the Hebrew. I will make it difficult until the end of the show. You will know some Hebrew. Don't worry.
I think maybe that would be the first question: is the significance of the timing, and how this is a trauma event that you were saying how in the back of your head you recognize that there's inconsistencies with how it actually happened. How could this have played out with Israeli intelligence being aware and the amount and the scale of this attack? How could the amount of forces that crossed the border and caused this devastation, how could it have happened?
Yeah.
And why was it allowed to have happened on this particular day, which is even more of a, calls back memories from 50 years ago. And so I wanted to, ask you on the timing to respond to when it happened.
I will answer. Okay, about of course, there is the term that I mentioned in our previous shows, with that we truthers really, really, really hate, which is called coincidence. Okay, because we know that once there's like too many coincidences, it can't be a coincidence, right? Now, all the coincidence that I told you in the first part regarding the physical level of how it happened, how did I told you about it before, that those puzzles are still remained open, and no one can get how it's actually happened, so unless it was, of course, orchestrated and engineered and by the Israeli side. Now, regarding the timing, of course, not only the timing, which is by the Gregorian date, it went off a day after it went on 50 years ago. It was 50 years ago, the 6th of October, and now it's the 7th. So this kind of this is major coincidence, it's even a coincidence with what I told you before with the intelligence, because the intelligence is usually knows that that the Arabs like to attack in in certain dates which are symbolic in some way, so or the Israelis will be unprepared, so they would have needed to be alerted that there was maybe something would happen in the commemoration of 50 years to the Yom Kippur War, but still, no, we didn't know. No, something went down over here. Someone passed through the fence. They planned it for a long time, but we didn't know. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, it's these things are still puzzling. And as you said, the Simchat Torah, when it fell down on the day of Simchat Torah, that gives you the clue on who's behind this, because the ones who would want to hurt the day that we're celebrating God's Torah book, the ending of it, the ending of the reading of it, and the beginning of reading from the start off. Someone who's opposing maybe God, his rivalry, something which is all kinds of I think that in the spiritual realm, this is how they kind of close the accounts between them, or something like that, or maybe it's something else. I told Jeremiah, I think on Saturday, if someone is really take the efforts to put on this dumb symbolism on top of the horrible things that he's doing, is doing it for the laughs, and he's doing it for the mockings, and he's doing it for his own personal perversion, not for anything which is supposed to be, beneficial for his, evil operation, He's doing that just for, that people afterwards will look at the event and will see the symbolism. There will be the truthers that will look at the symbolism, and they will say, oh, here's the symbolism, and there will be the people that will tell to you, well, which symbolism? I don't see anything, And on those both two groups, he's having a laugh. He's having a huge laugh. It's telling, those conspiracies, they see that, but they can't do anything. And those people, they don't see anything. I'm laughing on them. So, it's a very cruel and idiotic in my perception. After I research it, it goes like not with only with the numbers, okay, and the names and the stupid hand gestures and all those things that are supposed to symbolize their activity. This is this is just like the playground that they're doing. It's like the crossword puzzle that they're doing at the end of the paper. Last week, 2 years ago, we did a series over here in Ash News, which was called Extra Satanic Symbolism, okay, which was constructed out of like 4 episodes. And each episode was something like 3-4 hours. And in each episode, we kind of like researched 4 aspects of satanic symbolism, which was first the holidays, then the war, then money, and then the media. And I think that those things are have much more satanic symbolism in our reality than all the other nonsense that they will play in your head with numbers and gestures and things like that. Okay, they are also like those guys. I see them somehow like also responsible of making an image out of God with symbolism. Okay, which is also I don't believe in this thing, and I see it as a wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I think I hope it answered your question, Jake.
My producer actually has a question. Opa.
Yeah, may I interject something here?
Of course.
The mainstream media this morning has reported regarding this technology question that came up that Israel monitors electronics along the border to help them determine whether something's going to happen or not. And they are reporting that at least in the Gaza side, their electronics was disabled or turned off, so they couldn't detect anything. And then the other thing they mentioned was that the Israel government was basically concentrating more on the West Bank than they were on the Gaza. And another mainstream media report said that Egypt had actually warned Israel 2 days in advance that something was going to happen, but that they don't know at what level of the government the warning was given.
And yeah, it's all summed up to a huge pile of coincidences, okay, that happened, and yeah, and so all those things, okay, will be explained to you by the mainstream media, by army officials, by the government as coincidences, okay, mm-hmm. But we know, okay, that the separation, and I want to get back to flat Earth for a second. When I explain to people why does like is it important to know what flat Earth is all about, I'm telling them that it's what is important to distinguish between the two narratives. Okay, the two narratives. First off, the scientific narratives, Big Bang, spinning balls everywhere, evolution, whatever, and all these processes are being leaned on the principle of consequences, or in their nicer name, laws of nature. All right. Now, and while the other narrative that we support and believe in is the godly narrative that is believing in the creation of God of this place in 6 days. On the 6th day, He created the man. We're not coming out of puddle and lizards and monkeys, okay? And we are living in an intelligent creation. And this whole thing, this whole godly narrative is based on the principle of cause and result, Okay, that every result needs to have like a reason, and while you go down to the initial reason, it has to be God. Now, if the media is leaning on the scientific narrative, okay, that it's possible that it will be so much coincidences, okay, while we truther are leading on the godly narrative, which we know that everything need to have a reason, okay? It couldn't be so many coincidences. And we know that in this place that we are living in, this is how logically things are being created and being done. For instance, I always give this example. You're going like by a building and you stop beside him and you kind of like thinking how this building was made. And you kind of like option one, there could be like a pile of stone and a really tornado came by and flew all those stones together and piled them up in a building, and they even painted themselves somehow, and like that they have like a building. And the other option is that they're having constructors and builders and people open maps and we brought tools and build up this building. So I believe that the second option is more logical, right? I'm not wrong, right? The second one is more logical. This goes to show you that cause and result is this principle is so important, okay? And this is and this thing, you know, whenever they wave with coincidences in Vardyuvesh, you can take those coincidences down and tell them, no, I know that the world is walking down with cause and result. So yeah, show me the cause and result. And if not, I'm going to look for them for myself. Okay. So yeah, this is pretty much my reaction to your question. Thank you.
To continue on with my first question on kind of the coincidence of when this big attack started off, and its association with a religious holy day, right? The final day, the last great day, the 8th day of the Sukkot festival season, I wanted to bring up the conspiratorial association with a infamous Albert Pike letter. I don't know if you're familiar with this letter that was disseminated around. The legitimacy of it was in question, but it brings up the concept that the world powers or kind of the people that want to implement a new world order have in mind for the Third World War, a war motivated by religious extremism and the association of this attack happening on a day associated with the Jewish community, and then now kind of the association with Islam versus Judaism. I wanted to read this and get your take on this alleged letter from Albert Pike, which is really interesting because it details the Illuminati's plan for 3 world wars. Okay, so this was just an article of the Reese report, but he breaks down some statements from the letter. Now, just some backstory. The infamous Albert Pike letter. Now, Albert Pike lived in the 1800s and was an infamous member of the Freemasonry. But it says that it was a letter to Mazzini, known as the Illuminati Plan for 3 World Wars, and was allegedly written by Albert Pike in 1871. The letter outlines a plan to foment 3 world wars in an attempt to take over the world. And we know that kind of the New World Order and the things that are being implemented with the WHO and medical tyranny and kind of erasing borders to kind of implement a lot of the agendas that have been pushed for 2030. It's claimed that the letter was on display in the British Museum Library until 1977. But the British Museum denies this claim, so this is an alleged letter. The legitimacy is in question, but it is possible that it was an actual letter. Some suggest that the kind of the issues with the writing is because it uses the term Nazism in 1871, which they say proves the letter is a fraud. But, it could have been a term that existed. But here is the breakdown of the Illuminati's plan that is mentioned in the letter for 3 world wars. And the first world war it mentioned must be brought about in order to overthrow the czars in Russia and make the country a fortress for atheistic communism. The divergence caused by agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. After the war, communism will be used to destroy other governments and weaken the religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between fascists and political Zionists, and this war must be brought about that Nazism is destroyed and political Zionism is strong enough to institute a sovereign state in Israel and Palestine. And if you're familiar with some of Rob's positions on the creation of the nation state of Israel, going into this during the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough to balance Christendom, which would be restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. And this is why I bring this up in relation to kind of the now publicized and mainstream, Islam versus Judaism, kind of, the association with this attack being on a high holy day. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between political Zionists and the leaders of Islam. The war must be conducted in a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other. And these are the words of Albert Pike, kind of explaining, how they're going to kick off this Third World War, being kind of motivated by different faith systems. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and for the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will form from that moment, will without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, or Hasatan, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result in the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. And so whoever wrote this letter had the vision to see where all this was going, whether it was Albert Pike or not, but this is an alleged Albert Pike letter. By manipulating our beliefs and emotions, mankind has been herded into these wars like cattle to the slaughter. And so how Nir started off talking about the significance of kind of the cover-up of how this was able to be happening, and also I see the connection of the significance of when it is happening. I find also the timing very interesting. So I wanted to, have you ever heard of that letter from the 1800s, Nir? Or are you familiar with some of that?
Yeah, I heard about this letter, and there is also like a big conspiracy going on that about this website. I don't remember its name. That it shows that like in 2025, I think, something like that, there will be like the population of Israel will be like half of what it is today.
Wow.
Anyway, but to be honest, me personally, I don't really. I don't like to be like involved with too much of like predictions and prophets and prophecies and things like that. Beside what I know from let's say the book of Ezekiel from the Bible, or anything that or like the book of Revelation, things which are like they don't like they don't really commit into like a certain time and place, and with them I can pretty much go with them. It's pretty much like hard for me with prophets and how it got realized. It's like less interesting, but I will tell you what regarding this letter and the involvement of the Illuminatis, the New World Order in what we're seeing right now, is that for instance, in Israel, we have this conflict with the Palestinian people or whatever for more than 100 years now. I do claim, and I also, like, I think I said it in the show with Jeremiah, I do think that once we have like a continuous war situation and crises and things which are like supposedly seen like really, really bad, it does profits and benefits lots of people who are dealing with it, meaning politicians, media, army, medical. And they all, when they have this crisis, they all have one thing. They all have jobs, okay? They all have something to do, okay? And this gives them enough of a motivation to keep on, supporting this crisis and emergency situation, that, they will keep their job and they will do things. Now, if this theory that I told you right now is correct, for me, okay, until this Saturday, because as I told you, when I saw the cruelty that we had in this round over here, when I saw that cruelty, it looked to me like something that I never saw before. It looked to me like something out of this world, and I'm starting to get into the mind of the psychopaths who engineered this thing and they supported and overlooked or whatever. And I'm telling myself, if they would know the consequences to that, and probably they know, okay, they would know just the horrible consequences to that, they wouldn't do that out of only this motive of keeping their job, okay? There must be a higher cause, okay? A higher reason that for that they overlooked, they betrayed, they did what they do, okay? And that higher reason has to be a spiritual reason, okay? And this spiritual reason, I don't know what is the tolerance and what is the trigger, level over here in your shows, okay? But start describing what happened over here with those people. Why did they do that? Why did they engineered? Okay, who they are counting to? Okay, who did they have to serve this kind of blood? Okay, who do they have to make sure that this kind of amount and portion of the blood will spill? I know only one entity that kind of like demands that from its slaves and whatever. And this entity is a vicious one, and it wants its portion. And this is the way that he defies God. Okay, that's the way that he wants to hurt the human species, the humans, and in order to do that, in order to rebel against God, he has to kill and spill the blood of his greatest creation. So this is the spiritual motive that I got to, that can explain the horrible and the cruelty and horrible things and the cruelty that I witnessed. And this also, like, it brings me a comfort, like I said before, that I can't understand this kind of like cruelty. So I shouldn't like even try. Yeah, this is pretty much it regarding like the spiritual war and the ones who run it. Okay, the ones who run this war, they know it's a spiritual war, and they know that they are like only the adversaries who commit this war over here on the ground. Of course, they have their loyalty to their God and their leader and their ugly figure entity. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's well put. I mean, it's has to be a spiritual element to this, because the horror is not committed just by individuals. It's kind of a group mindset that allows these atrocities to roll forward. And I think that's the power of mainstream media, is it fuels the machine. Hello, cat.
It wasn't my cat. I kept telling Opa, it's not my cat.
Yeah.
My cat will be in here soon.
Linda, she's a part of the crew over here in Esh News. Yeah, she has in Hebrew we call it the neshama. She's like the soul of this channel over here in this house, right?
We have a tuxedo cat mascot named Charlie.
Yeah, I saw him. Yes, sweet. By the way, she's a messenger of God, like like a direct delivery from God. In the beginning of the COVID times, my girlfriend back then, she told me, let's bring a dog or whatever, that the kids would have something to play with. I told her, no, I don't like dogs, and I want a white cat to come over to my place. I don't want to look for her. I need a white female cat that will come over to my place, and she will know that this is her place. And a week afterwards, like my girlfriend told me, Nir, your cat is waiting downstairs. She was like, I come downstairs, he was like jumping into my hands. I brought her up to my place, and yeah, living happily ever since. And seriously, like a delivery from God.
Can you share with our audience some of your opinions of specific examples of incidences where the mainstream media has misrepresented the real facts that have happened in Israel? Like, what are some specific ones?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like, you're meaning like in this current crisis, or like in the history?
Yes. Yeah, in this situation, because I feel like they're very dishonest.
No, like I told you that I'm not like researching it. I'm not watching television, and I'm not like following the events. So I can't tell you in specific. It's I can't answer you on that question because I don't follow the Israeli media in this crisis. I'm sorry.
Well, that's all I got. You got one? You got one, Jake?
Oh, yeah, just I know we're tacking this on to the last section. I think the last question I had before you continue on to your next segment is I thought it was really interesting that if you wanted to pull up my screen, I wanted to share this. Just the timing of this happening only a week after Netanyahu tells the UN that Israel is at the cusp of a historic agreement with Saudi Arabia and the Abraham Accords, and this is one of the few times that Israel was actually applauded and people were cheering at the UN. Usually, it's very negative. It seems like in the UN realm of things, and so I just wanted to ask: do you think this event happening with Gaza and Hamas attacking is throwing a wrench in some of these peace agreements that have been talked about for the past 3 or 4 years, the Abraham Peace Accords? And I think it's just amazing the timing of this happening right after kind of some of these statements were being made.
Again, it all comes down to the question of coincidence or not. Okay, whether or not the script was planned to be in that way. And the thing is that the script that you are like describing, that the latest incidents in Israel will affect our peace agreement with Saudi Arabia. this thing is only like relevant if you are following the mainstream narrative. Okay. They will explain to you that because of that we got all kinds of like collisions and problems with negotiations and blah 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 blah. It will be a great excuse. Okay, it will be a great excuse, and it was a coincidence that it happened exactly that way. What could we do? Like, coincidence happens. We can't do anything against coincidences. So, and if you like going with the truthers narrative on that one, you can see that the whole thing with peace agreements, it's a big show. It's a big it's a big false thing. Okay, because we truthers, we know to distinguish between in each field, we know how to distinguish between what the actual thing is and what is the names who are like being attached to, okay, which are not like the real thing. For instance, okay, we got like technology and science, right? Technology is the actual thing, the actual instrument, okay? Science is the language that describes the technology, okay? Let's say for medical, okay? You got medical, you got like symptoms and diseases, okay? Symptom is what you're actually feeling. Diseases is kind of like the scientific name that they're giving to all kinds of like symptoms. So in the same way with politics and peace agreements, the false name that they're giving is peace agreement, okay? What is peace? Actually, it's a cooperation between people, unity, brotherhood. This is peace, okay? Not a piece of paper, okay?
Well put. Well, please continue on to your next segment. I know you said we have 3 segments, and I want to make sure you get both in before we have to sign off here in about an hour or so.
Okay, I will try to make it fast and to the basics. Okay, so part 2. This is the part that I told you that we're gonna be lifted up a little bit from the physical level that we were in the first part, and not only with the topics that we're going to talk about, but also like with the actual action. Okay, meaning it's very when I describe to you the situation in Israel nowadays, it's very tragic. And for me personally, and if you remember, like on the first part, I told you about the meaning for me about the news. What is for me the meaning of bringing that I'm calling myself news channel is that I have the obligation to bring you something new, okay, and something that you will have to work with, something that will excite you, and something that will that you can use, okay, in order to cope with kind of like situations like that, and the kind of with this heartbroken and suffering and everything that goes down, okay. There must be something that we, as the creation of God, can do, okay? And it goes after I heard lots and lots of people talking with them, and all of them brought up the word of like helplessness. I don't know what to do. I know, the government is lying to me. I know that we need to attack Gaza right now. But what I know I'm like here at home, what I can do in order to help any kind of like situation, okay? Now, first off, as I said earlier, the important thing to understand is who is your enemy, okay? Who is your enemy? Who are you attacking? Who are like you're fighting with? And I think that the actual weapon that God gave us in order to cope those kind of like threats and those enemies in when he fights them in his spiritual realm, we got a way to help him and to assist him in his war by doing what he gave us as his best character on the sixth day. He said that he will create the man in his image. And what I understood out of that is that he gave us the power of creation, which distinguishes us from all the rest of the other animals. And when I got this acknowledgement that God put me on this world in order to create, this was a great revelation for me. And this was the day that I kind of like sweared to him that I will try to create each and every day that I can for the rest of my life. And the thing is that this power of creation, this instrument, this weapon that God gave us, it's a mighty and infinite weapon which the other side don't possess. And and while this other side doesn't possess this weapon, he envies us humans, okay, that we possess this weapon. They can't create anything. Everything which is being created by them is being created wrong, not aesthetically whatsoever, with a sense of lie in the air or falsehood. And they know pretty much only to destroy. They know how to create good destruction weapons. Okay, this is their specialty, and they envy the humankind for their ability to create things which are beautiful, which brings love to people, which helps other people, and because of that, they want to destroy us. Okay, they're really afraid from this ability that we have. And I think that, as I said earlier, in this spiritual battle, this is a thing that we can do over here to help God. You know, people are usually being using prayers, okay, prayers and they're telling themselves that it helps God, it approaches, it connects them to God, and I'm totally agreeing with that. And it's also like my tool every once in a while. But this is kind of like the spiritual action that you're doing, okay. The physical action that you can do is the creation itself. Now, besides like helping God, people, if you will start and be creating by yourself, okay, you for yourself, you will get tons of benefits out of it. Beside like all the benefits that I mentioned, like in the previous part about meeting you guys and getting all sorts of other things that you didn't expected. You get like improvement of your skills and discovery of skills that you never dreamed that you have. For me, for instance, one thing is that throughout all my broadcast seasons, I consider myself a one-man show. Okay, meaning that everything in the show have to come through me. Okay, and I'm in charge of everything in the show. I'm doing producing and content and camera and sound and editing and publishing and whatever I forgot, okay, doing everything besides the guests. The guests, I'm not the guests, okay. The guests are like own real people, but like everything else, okay, goes through my hands. So I will have the most control over this this creation of mine. And besides that, it gives me the opportunity to find out what my skills are. Okay, I've been like for all those seasons, I've been improving all those things that I'm doing. That part of them I didn't even know how to do when I started it. Okay, I just learned it throughout the way, and so I want to in this segment. So I'm bringing to Jeremiah, to Jake, to the whole Skiba News Nation family, I bring you some hints and tips, okay, about how to create your own godly creation, because I think that this is what's important at this time. And I know that it's kind of like, for me, when I'm saying it right now, it sounds like a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, there's a war going on over here in Gaza. People are dying, kidnapped. So yeah, what can I do about it? Okay, I'm getting no answers. I can only come to the solutions that I found in my life, in order that they help me, and give it to you. Again, I'm not a salesman. I'm not a leader. Take my advice. I will appreciate them. If not, yeah, that's okay as well. And one more thing that I want to mention before I start off with the list, about the significance of creation in my personal life. Over the last 23 years or so, I'm defined and known as Crohn disease, with Crohn disease. Do you know what is Crohn disease?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
good. All kinds of things that I really don't want to talk about over here. But altogether, when I went down for like 4 surgeries in last 20 years, and the last one was about 6 years ago. And on the recovery time of my last surgery, this is when I discovered flat Earth, and it's all got to do with it, okay? Because when I went down to all kinds of doctors about this disease, they told me that this is a psychological disease. This is not a virus or something like that. This is a psychological disease which is kind of being caused to all kinds of sensitive people, okay? And I couldn't understand what that means, sensitive people. But afterwards, I kind of understood that, and also when I started off hanging around with truthers, I started to understand that lots of them have this disease, coincidentally, okay? And I got to the understanding that this disease is being caused, okay, individually for everyone, by all kinds of bad things that goes down in our world. For me personally, it was the mind control, okay, the mind control and the indoctrinations, the way that I lived with them for years and years and years, and I couldn't, with my inner truth, accept them. That created me a whole mess in my body, okay, that that created this disease. And the minute that I found out, okay, that the way for me to fight this disease is, first of all, discovering flat Earth helped me a lot with banishing, the mind control, all of those lies that were affecting me. The minute I kind of banished them, so I felt a lot more relieved from this disease, that she will attack me again. And once I started creating, it was about a year after I discovered flat Earth, I discovered that the creation was the actual weapon and the actual cure versus this disease, okay? And I can use it to fight it. And as long as I keep my promise to God that I will create every day, I know that God will not bring me back this disease. And again, I'm humbling myself and I'm trying to not to jinx it, okay? But it's this is the way that I feel right now, that I overcome this this disease using the tools of creation, okay? Using this godly creation, and it's natural cure. It's a thing that that anyone who struggles with medical issues, or with psychological issues or whatever bothers him in his life, okay, I do think that creation can do wonders, okay, with that.
Wow.
Yeah, you
I
got
wanted
anything
to
say
respond
about
to
it?
that. I just thought that was so amazing hearing. I've heard of Crohn's disease, but I've never heard of the association with Crohn's disease and psychological stressors. And I think that to me is very, very interesting. I mean, and given what's happening right now, it's even very important for you to bring that up because of all the stress and distress that people are being put through with all the media that's talking about the atrocities that are happening and the emotional trauma that people are being put through. I mean, just the association with diseases and the mental state is so important. So I just wanted to say thank you for opening my eyes up to the connection there between such a I feel like I've heard of that, a lot of people suffering from that ailment and the association with that and just your mental state. That to me is very profound.
It's mind over matter.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for your kind words. I will begin with the list, okay? The creation is being created for itself and not for money or fame, rewards, okay? Once you take those elements away, you give a whole new respect to the creation. Once you eliminate the effects of what will be the outcome of your creation. So, bringing things from the non-existing world into the existence world is a great thing. Okay, once you're taking like the matters, the actual matter that the God left to you after you finish up those, creating those matters on the first 6 days, he left it over to us, and now we need to continue his job. And if you took those matters, put your spirit inside them and created something new, okay? Again, new, okay? This is the key word over here. So you did a great thing, and God will remember that for you, that you created in His Word, and And if you are expecting to get rewarded for your creation, it's not a creation. It's a job. Yeah, revealing, right?
Yeah.
So don't fool yourself, okay? What you do in your creation, do it like, even not like a hobby, okay? Give it the respect of something which is a lot more sacred than a hobby, okay? And don't make it a job out of it, okay? If you will make a job out of it, you will treat it like a job. So it's not really worthwhile. The creation can be formed in any field, can be in any topic you are interested. First of all, you have to separate between the creation itself, okay, and the topic of it. What we're doing right now in this show it's the creation, okay. The topic that we are talking about is the truth world, and I do think that the creation itself, the action itself, is more important than the topic. Okay, it's because the topics can be changed. Okay, and it's just because we created something in the truth world, it doesn't make it more worthwhile if someone did the creation in some other field, right? Do you agree with you on that point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Make yourself in charge on as many aspects of your creation. I told earlier that about me running these shows for doing all those things. So yeah, also it gets me the benefit of learning those skills. But besides that, it keeps me in charge of everything. Okay, and it makes this creation a lot more mine at the end, okay? Because if I would separate the work between like all kinds of people, and everyone had his own opinion on how to do his job. So it might be going out well, no problem. Maybe I would instruct them on how I want to see things. But again, we got more people who own this creation. I think the more beneficial is that as much creation will be like yours. It's not actually yours. I will soon tell about it. But as much as percentage of it is yours, it's more like worthwhile than good. The inspiration on what and how you create comes from God. All you can get, if you want to get this inspiration out of God, you just need to ask it from Him, okay? And and of course, the meaning that this creation that you created belongs to God, meaning He got the copyrights, and if He got the copyrights, you can't take any responsibility on that, okay? Meaning that if someone is coming to you and you're showing him your creation, and he tells you, "What did you do over here?" Okay, and it's terrible. And do you know what this creation of yours will do? So you can tell them, "No, I'm not responsible for that. God told me to do that. God handed me to do so. He got the copyrights. I'm not responsible. It is all Him." Okay. And I think it liberates you, okay? It liberates you from like being worried about the outcome of your creation, because that puts a lot of like stumbles and obstacles in the way of people if they want to create. They keep like insisting, "What do people think of me? Okay, I'm a bad creator. I don't know to create anything. Like, what would people like? How do people look at me? Who do I show it to?" And that leads me also like to next few more points over here. And one is that your creation. I will begin otherwise. You are not perfect, so don't expect your creation to be perfect as well. Okay. Stay away from perfectionism and professionalism. This is their way to describe what is good, okay, or how you need to be like them or something like that. No. Perfect is who you are, okay, and who you are will reflect in your creation, and that's the best thing you can do. It's not need to be perfect, professional, sufficient for anyone. And criticism, the criticism belongs to the guy who gives it. Okay, it doesn't belong to you. And if he criticizes your creation so much, so again, as I told you earlier, it's God in charge. Okay, I will tell you that in my personal business, I own a translation company here in Israel with a partner of mine. And we got, I'm like the VP of operating, my partner is a VP of marketing, and we appointed, the day that we founded our company, we appointed our CEO of the company, which is God, and we listened to him, okay? And we appointed him, and it was the best decision that we ever made in our life. We couldn't like stand any kind of like human to stand above us as a CEO and tell us what to do. So we gave God the job, and he's doing a great job on that, okay? And he brings us all the clients and all the things that we need, and providing good happiness and good working relations with my partner, and of course living from our families and everything. So your partner in the creation is God, okay? And he's the one in charge. He's the CEO. So any complaints, direct to him, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that all in general, I will repeat the thing that I said in the beginning that kind of like summons up all this list, okay? The main thing is the absolute respect to your creation that you created, because it's for me, it's my communication with God. It's the way that I communicate with God, and it's the way that I feel Him, and the way that I see that, how my creations look like at the end. I know that this is the way God spoke to me on that day, and yeah, and of course, you two are part of it as well. Okay, so besides like how to create it, I do want to get this word out of here as loud as possible for people who feel helpless, not only in Israel, also like in where you live and all the rest of the world. If you're feeling helpless, if you're feeling kind of like danger or a situation that is that you think is threatening you, do create. It can make all the change in the world. It can make all the change for God. It can make all the change for you. And this is my word, my new word of Esh News for in this show over here. And thank you, Jake and Jeremiah, for letting me share it. It was very important to me to say those words. And this is the end of the second part. You got questions, of course.
Yes, no, I mean, I think that was so important because you were pointing out why creativity is the answer when people are in despair. And that's what's happening right now is you have many people in despair, not knowing how they can, operate or be involved. And I think the crippling impact of despair and fear is it immobilizes people. It makes them feel like their purpose is insignificant, that their role is to just wait till the end of their life or whatever, or that, this atrocities that are happening.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like it's when we're encountering a crisis like that, okay, you're getting like, some kind of like a bad wave of energy inside your body. Okay, when you're hearing some kind of like news like that, or something wrong happened, or whatever, you're getting some kind of like a bad wave of energy inside your body, and this wave of energy stays in your body until you release it outside. Okay, and one of the ways to do that is by creation. Okay, is to release this pain, this suffering, whatever, to bring it like. From in the other direction, from the inside to the outside. Okay, I think it relates to what you said. Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just I was saying, I think that's why it's so wonderful that you're touching on this topic. And Jeremiah, what thoughts do you have?
I think, like what we're doing here on Skiba News Nation, we create and we try to bring others happiness. And I think in a tough time that you guys are going through in Israel, you have a very positive message, and I appreciate that.
Great. Also,
all
like,
right.
And I'll tell you what, like, also like the best people that I got in touch with in the truth world are people that are seeing this perspective about creation the way that I do, okay? And they're the people that I have much respect from them. And as I'm seeing your work over here, it's I'm giving to you much respect as well, because I know that you are transmitting on the same wave as I am, okay, on that thing, and it feels warm and comforting. Okay, I will tell you that part 3 of our show is the part that I'm most excited and thrilled about, because it involves the enlightenments and consciousness that I got over in the last week with some kind of like really big revelation, which is, I don't know how it got to me. Okay, usually when I have my awakenings, okay, in all kinds of things, I have this, big feeling in my body, and I think that I kind of like feel that I'm going on a spiritual level to speak with God or something like that. And usually it comes also like that they don't eat in those days or whatever. And this is and kind of like I felt like that for a few days, and then about 2 or 3 days ago, some kind of like big revelation landed on me, which is kind of like connecting the story of Yeshua, our current crisis and war, and my personal story. And I want to talk to you before I start this. I will start off with my personal story regarding flat Earth and awakening to Yeshua, by asking you guys, okay, about a feeling that I have, and I know that lots of truthers have, that somehow the conspiracies that you are dealing with, and I know the reality or whatever, comes to you not by coincidence, of course, and it's kind of like even more than that. It looks like they are well custom suit to your life, okay? That you're like destined to discover it, okay, or you're destined to deal with it. Do you have this kind of like feeling sometimes?
I would say yes. Me and Jake, when we do the show every week, my history and his current news will always seem to mesh, it seems. So
yeah, for you, Jeremiah, it's kind of like pretty much obvious. Okay, I don't know. Did you ever ask yourself why did you were born to be Rob Skiba's son, for instance? You know, it's kind of like
it's my fate, I guess, destiny,
it's your fate, right?
or as my dad would say, my density. You'll have to watch my mom's speech to get that one.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah, it's I like to say
you have those
like
feelings?
divine appointment sometimes is what I like to call it, is like the odds of things lining up to get my attention. Sometimes it's like I like to play the lottery in my head of what comes across my spectrum of awareness, and I think it's significant. I mean, the spirit of the Almighty is associated with being the spirit of truth, and He gives that spirit to all men in a measure, and I think whenever you are drawn to things, it's like it has to be the perfect timing too, because if you're not ready to open your eyes and ears up to whatever truth you're being presented with, it just goes right over your head. It has no impact. But it's whenever you're presented with truth, or you have the thing that taps into your life, or a revelation, and you are like a fertile soil waiting for a seed to be planted, versus not being willing to entertain a new idea. And I think that's how it's worked for me. Is it's really it's just the perfect timing where I'm got my ear peaked and I'm looking for something, and then then whatever the Most High wants to deliver, it comes in that way for me.
Yeah. Okay, I do understand that. If you remember, like on the previous shows, I told you that, when I look at myself, it's kind of like, again, I don't think it's a coincidence that I kind of like was born in Israel, and in Rehovot, that I told you the story of Isaac's well, and everything kind of like, projecting into my personal story and my personal history. And this thing, again, it looks like a coincidence, but it's not, okay? And this is the kind of like the mechanism that I think God is revealing the truth for us to believe in, okay? Because if you're feeling that it's part of your own personal story, then you have more you're more feeling to hold on to this truth, okay? So I will begin my story about waking up to flat Earth in 2018. It was beginning of 2018, and And like after speaking to Rob, I told you like that we had the conversation. I had a conversation with him, and he encouraged me to start being active about flat Earth in Israel. So I initiated the first meetups and conventions of the flat Earth community over here in Israel. It was actually the first meetup was like right here in my living room, and then we did like a convention in the pub, and all kinds of short, all kinds of the first steps that we tried, and also getting into the media, to the mainstream media back in 2018, 19. I know the media was pretty much eager to know about this subject of flat Earth, and I was doing that along with a good friend who's considered today to be the biggest expert of flat Earth in Israel. I won't mention his name out of pure dignity to him, and I'm gonna say about this guy all kinds of things which I'm considering a bit bad, but overall I really appreciate this guy, and he was a friend of mine, and I know that professionally he's amazing. And we've been feuded and argued about a topic that I'm gonna talk to you about. And what I'm gonna talk about him is nothing personal. Okay, it's all related actually to the whole story that I'm gonna present, and also the story that I'm about to tell. I don't want to tell it with sense of revenge or something like that. Okay, I would just want to get the moral out of it, and the conclusions out of it. Okay, because these are the things which are important. Okay, so this guy that I was hooked with, he was a religious guy. Okay, he is a religious guy with a yarmulke on his head. Altogether, I didn't have any problems with it, and that we will cooperate and everything at the beginning of our way. But then at something like the end of 2019, when I started off already Ash News, I met up with a guy named Oren Shushan, and he was not the head, but kind of the one who initiated the group of which is called Emet Chofshit, which are the Yeshua believers in Israel. And I told you about them before. They are pretty much they like to distinguish themselves from any kind of religion. They pretty much hate all religions, okay? But very much connected to the story of Yeshua and to the scriptures in general, okay? And I told you that in Israel, the indoctrination about Yeshua and the New Testament is horrible. It's absolutely horrible, because I couldn't notice it for all my life until I met Oren. And when I met him, it was actually in some kind of another flat Earth meetup or something like that. Coincidentally, I met him over there, and I asked him and this friend. I told them, yeah, I heard about you guys. Maybe come over to my show and host, and we'll do shows together. And then they told me, we don't think so. I told them why? Because not many people like us. I told him, oh, people don't like you? Why? Because we are followers of Yeshua, and people don't like it over here. So I tell them, you know what? Because of what you said, this is the exact reason that I want to invite you to my show, okay? Because no one else likes you, and because you probably have something important to say if no one else likes you. So I brought them over to my show, and since we started off doing the shows, me and Owen, I got to be familiar with his method of thinking and his vision of history and spirituality. And as we were doing, and those shows were the bomb, okay? Those shows were fire. is like, whoa, I never encountered anyone who like holds down a talk show like he did, with the way he speaks and his passion and his fire and everything. And the topics that he's talking about were so true and revealing, and for me, kind of like sorted out the whole picture with what I'm seeing over here on the physical realm versus what is going on on the spiritual realm, with anything got to do with the state of Israel. And we did throughout the years, we did lots shows, tons of hours of broadcasting. Also, like the series that I mentioned to you earlier about the satanic symbolism, it was with him. And altogether, like throughout the shows, he kept on telling me, "Hey, you have to read the New Testament." Now, I have a problem. I think that you have the same problem as well. Whenever someone starts off a sentence with the words, "you have to," afterwards, I'm hearing a beep sound, and I don't get the second part of the sentence, okay? Because, like, you know this feeling, Jake? Identify.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, it's a very common truther's disease. Okay, and because once someone's telling me you have to do something, wait just a second, I don't have to. I think that I don't have to. Okay, so you're telling me that I have to, but I kind of like feeling that that you're telling me that I have to from some kind of like your reasons, but I don't really have to. So anyway, so like for 3 seasons, Oren is like shouting on me on shows, "You have to read the New Testament." Yeah, I will. Until like the 3rd season was ended, and this was like a very packed season with him and everything. So we finished up the seasons, and he stopped yelling on me to read the New Testament. So I started reading the New Testament. Okay, once he stopped yelling on me, so I started doing that.
Yeah.
This is my logic, and I started off reading it, and it was the first time for me, and it was 42 years old. Okay, and lots and lots of people get to that point in their life in Israel that they're 42 years old or older or whatever, or ending their life without opening a single page of the New Testament, while they know every page in the Bible, in the Old Testament. Okay, but the indoctrination over here told them that no, the New Testament is not related to the Bible. Okay, they're talking about some guy named Yeshu over there. Yeshu, oh, he was a really wicked man, and he was a false prophet, and did horrible things. And you shouldn't even like read this New Testament in order to understand what I told you right now. Don't waste your time. Forget it. You're living in Israel. It's the Jewish country. It's leave the story of over here of the Bible. You got your own story. It's well like respected. You should like look for other stories and other prophets and other like I don't know. Saying that is the Son of God over there? Son of God? How can someone be the Son of God? It's doesn't make any sense. I know that every human is going to the bathroom at least twice a day. So are you telling me that he didn't want to the bathroom? All kinds of like weird and indoctrinations like that, and all kinds. When you start talking to people, especially religious people, about it, and when you can't like cope with, they can cope with your claims, and telling them you never opened a single page and it's a single verse of the New Testament. How do you know all that you know about the New Testament? What's going on over there? This is the point that they're starting to make it like funny and to make it like find a solution to make it like look stupid or something like that. This is the same solutions that Globis tells you. That find you like whenever they get into the corner, stressed into the corner. So I started off doing these shows with Oren, and while doing that, I was feeling a little bit from all the community of Flat Earth. I felt a bit of like resentment, hostility, something which is kind of like felt weird to me. Okay, kind of like groups and stuff. And after reading the New Testament, I got like a big revelation about the way of Yeshua. I finally read the whole story, and I got all those consciousness and moral issues that I got solved, and I was so pumped up and excited. And I revealed also like being awakened from the religious life. Okay, for first off, which is something was very exciting for me, and I discovered the story, which was amazing and I know beautiful, and I think it happened. Okay, so so I was pretty much overjoyed, but God, He came over and told me, "Hey, Nir, you read down now. You now read the New Testament, right?" Yeah, I told him yes, and he told me, "Okay. Let's see what you learned." Okay, and what God did, He brought me into reality, the story of the gospel, in order for me to see if I learned well, if I'm indeed going in Yeshua's way. Okay, if I just read it without like implementing what I learned, and it got into a feud with this guy that I was talking to you about. Okay, when he insisted that we will not talk about Yeshua in his groups, in his content, and also like got to the level that he expelled me and the other Yeshua believers from his groups, because he bluntly said that he doesn't want the Yeshua people inside there. Also, he got like another partner who was like less on the religious scene, more like in the new age scene. Okay, so I kind of like I was looking at them and I was looking at me. If I'm like in this story, if I'm Yeshua in this story, so this guy with the yarmulke, he's probably representing the parasites, right? And the other guy, which is like the new age guy, he probably represents Rome, right? Yeah, he represents Rome, and everything should be, by the story, okay? So, and it goes like this: that are getting expelled, like Jesus got Yeshua got expelled from Jerusalem, and all kinds of things like that from groups. And I told Oren, I told him, next time we're gonna return to their groups, they're gonna crucify us. And like and it happened, okay? And what happened was that exactly like and something like 1 or 2 months after I started this rivalry with this guy, and he came to me. He wanted to do like a flat Earth convention, a really big one, like in Israel. And he came to me. This was the time that we were already been feuding, and he was and he sent me a message. "Hey Nir, do you want to come over and help us over with this convention and talk, whatever?" But without mentioning the sensitive topic. All right, the sensitive topic is Yeshua, of course, yeah. And I answered him a sentence which, at that point, I felt that it came from my ego. Okay, and not really from the right reasons. I wrote it down. No, I think that the sensitive subject issue is exactly what we need to talk about in this moment. And and that's it. Okay, I thought that I was like saying that out of my own ego. Yeah, I know what we should talk about right now, and whatever. And I'm like pissed off of this feud that we have, and this is what we should talk about right now. Let's leave this sentence, okay, for a second, and let's put it for a second for his side, and just remember him for a second. Now, and this convention went down and started happening. Of course, they told the other Yeshua believers that we won't be able to take part in this convention, to go out there and speak. And of course, they didn't want us over there. Okay, they didn't want us over there. We got expelled, and I took it very harshly. Okay, I took it very harshly because, first of all, I love the flat Earth community. I started off all those conferences and things, and it was a topic which is dear to my heart, and to be feeling expelled from this thing and from these conferences is, I know, it really feels bad.
Painful. Yeah.
It's painful. It's painful. Yeah, I was also like pretty much sad for the friend that I lost. Okay, that he is not like, we won't be able to cooperate anymore and everything. It was feeling to me like hypocrisy and very non-true thing to do, to block censorship. Telling a person not to arrive to an event. And those people they are considered like truthers who pass through like the COVID times, right? They remember how like the green passport looks like, that you're not vaccinated, something is like wrong with you and you can't go into places or something like that. Exactly how it felt like, and being operated by truthers, by the ones who were crying like for 3 years that people are racist towards them, and people blocking them, and people censoring them and everything, to do the same thing to your own kind.
Yeah.
I thought this was nasty. Okay, just for his own opinions. Okay, just for his own opinion.
Wow.
It's racist. It's racist. Come on. And but I took it like harshly, okay? But I think that again, I took it like harshly, but I don't think that I took it like harsh. I would take it that harshly if there wasn't something else in that, okay? I felt something really wrong that I told myself, Neil. I told myself, once I had a fight with this guy, I told myself, I'm going to sit aside. I didn't want to hurt their preparations for the convention. I didn't want to ruin that for them, start blabbing and tell them, bad things about this convention. I wanted them to succeed. But yet again, I felt like really bad, and I stepped aside, and I don't know, feeling and whatever. I started like crying the night before. I didn't understand why I was crying. What was so like bothering me? I started like asking myself, did I actually took Yeshua's way? Did I didn't? Did I do enough? Okay, to do something? I didn't know what I needed to do, but I felt really, really bad about it. Okay, and that brings me with the big jump forward to what happened on Saturday. And what happened on Saturday, and also like brought me the sentence that Jeremiah told me in the first show, okay, about history, that whoever doesn't learn from history is doomed to repeat it. Okay, this sentence I heard it lots of times before, but when Jeremiah told me that, it created some kind of like ignition into reality that it will actually be fulfilling this sentence. And I thought about this sentence that he said, and I watched all the horrible pictures and everything. And what I got was the same feeling that I got once God gave me the test last time, okay? With putting the gospel story inside reality, okay? While characters this time are more, they're not like people who are representing. They are large groups of people, okay? And in the characters, in the roles that they're having, we have, first of all, we've got the sacrifice, which is the people, the Israeli people that were captured, that were tormented, that were dehumanized, still that are dehumanized in this very moment. Okay, they are the sacrifice, and I told you earlier also like about the trans community. I think that they're bringing lots of love and light to the world, the same as Yeshua did in his time and dark days. In the roles of the Romans, okay, we got the Arabs that the Arabs, with their acts, they represent the new level of cruelty of the New World Order. From now on, all the crises and all the level of cruelty that we will see out of the New World Order will be from that standard. They set up a new standard to cruelty that from now on, this is what we're gonna see. This is the cruelty of the New World Order, okay? It's blunt, it's in your face, it's terrible. This is how it looks like. It's cruelty, wow. None of this world. And in order that the sacrifice will get to the Arabs, okay, to the Arabs, to the Romans, they need to have their cooperative. And in the story of the gospel, it was the parasites, Judas. In our story, it's the same parasites, okay? But this time, they are sitting in the current temple that we have in Israel, which is the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, occupying now more than half of the coalition in the parliament, and in charge. I'm not talking about the finance that they're receiving and the rights and whatever bullshit. I'm talking about the decision about the spirituality in their eyes that should be over here in Israel. And this spirituality doesn't include the Messiah and the Son of God, which is being told on in the New Testament. And once we are gathering this story, okay, that again, in my eyes, okay, in my eyes, only through my perspective, okay, and I'm telling myself, just a second, what I'm seeing here, this realization of the gospel is happening again in my life, okay? And maybe the reason that it now comes back in a more frightening and tremendous and humongous way, it's because I, Nir Shoshani, didn't stop it before. I didn't stop it. Once I got a chance to prevent the denial of Yeshua over in Israel, and I got a chance to do that, I tried to do that, like with me getting into this convention, and I didn't succeed doing that. So maybe it was my test of doing that, I don't know. But if I failed that test, it could be that what I'm seeing right now, this horrible thing that I'm seeing right now, maybe it's, I know, my fault. I'm guilty for that. I don't know. No, I don't want to take like guilty for that, okay? But it relates to my personal story, and it means that the text message that I told you earlier, that I sent back to this guy and telling him, no, I think that the sensitive issue is all we need to talk about this right now. It wasn't ego. It wasn't my ego. It was the absolute truth. It was the absolute truth. This is what I should have done at this moment. This is what we should all have done a year ago. It's what we should have done a year ago and prevent this Yeshua denial in Israel. We didn't do that. We are now getting punished. We're now getting punished because of that. And this is what happened. This is what happened in the first story of the gospel. 40 years after they gave Yeshua to the Romans and executed him, the temple was destroyed. Okay, the narrative of the Jewish people will tell you, no, the temple was destroyed because brotherly hate, because we keep like fighting each other. No, destruction. Okay, no, it's the same thing. They're splitting you into two groups. Okay, false narrative. No, the narrative is Jewish people got the punishment of destruction of the temple and exile for 2,000 years for giving the Messiah Son of God, to the Romans. And while keep on doing this denial of Yeshua here in the Holy Land, here where he stepped for more than 2,000 years, and I don't know how many rounds were in those 2,000 years that they were keep denying Yeshua over here in Israel. I don't know how many rounds were there. Okay, but each time we have another round, the outcomes are more critical, more painful, and more devastating. And for me personally, it tells me, okay, if my sentence was correct by then, over then, it tells me that the way that I picked to try and stop the Yeshua denial in Israel is a true way, is a thing that I should actually be active about. And it's a thing that I should bring the world to know about, because it will affect the other world. As I told you, Israel is the living room, okay? Once there's like a fight in the living room, the fights will go to other rooms in the house. So we have a fight over here, and it's being caused by the denial of Yeshua in Israel. And first of all, the consciousness of the story that I just told, that I know I experienced it as an amazing story. So first of all, the awareness of that story that I told you right now, if the viewers and you guys want to believe me or not, the meanings of it, for me, I think they are tremendous, and they are, and I think if I'm crying out here in the midst of war over here to do something, okay, to you guys, your viewers, do something, and it sounds like the craziest thing ever. We got the war over here. Yeah, we're gonna be bombed. We're gonna be killed soon. I'm telling you guys, yeah, now we should take care of people know about Yeshua in Israel. Sounds crazy, right? No, but I think that the mission of the people who see this importance of this thing that I told you right now can do lots of things to support it, to support this cause, okay, and to support this thing that, you know, incident like we had on Saturday won't happen again in a greater scale. And what I ask you to do, what I'm asking, pleading you, I don't know, whatever you want to do, okay, whatever you decide to do, if what I'm going to tell you, you can advocate for revealing the introduction behind the indoctrination behind Yeshua denial in the state of Israel and its effects. You can support with your prayers and creation, not with your money. Don't like any money. Usually, like you know, I used to work with Americans in the past, and usually when you tell them, "Oh, we need support," they're usually like reaching their hands to the wallet in a minute. Okay, so no money. Okay, but show your support to the Israeli Yeshua believers. Okay, there are very few, small community. They don't have any organization. They don't have any leaders. They don't have any kind of like thing that funds them or like supports them. They're individual people, but they are doing a very important work in spreading the word of Yeshua, where he stepped and lived, and the whole gospel story. Give your opinion online if you are agreeing with me, representing this current war. Representing this current war as a spiritual one between forces of good and evil, and not as a war between Jews and Arabs. And whatever else that you can think of, I'm like using whatever I said like at the previous part of the show. Okay, I'm trusting you guys. You're creative. You will know what to do. Okay, I leave it over to you because you have very creative ideas on how you can help this cause of, annihilating the denial of Yeshua in Israel. I think that I kind of like finished up with this part, and I want to hear your opinions about the story that I just shared, if possible.
Jeremiah, would you like to start?
It's a very interesting story. Sorry, my cat is trying to bite me for some reason. I thought it was a very interesting take on it.
I think that timing of the break between you and your friend, who is kind of represents the kind of the flat Earth community that has decided to reject Yeshua, is really interesting. In the timing of that, I saw that in the kind of greater flat Earth movement as a whole. 2019 kind of marked the end of a significant period where I feel like a lot of the flat Earth community was in unity, and even people who had varying religious beliefs, they were getting together to celebrate the truth of, cosmology and debunking NASA and all these things. But then a hard break kind of happened to the point where we saw what you experienced, which was people started saying, we want to talk about truth, but we don't want to talk about religion. We don't want to talk about Yeshua. We don't want to talk about the core essential of what the flat Earth topic led people to, which is a belief in our Creator, and then coming to understand the role of Yeshua as a Messiah is a foundational pearl that was, I believed, enclosed in the ugly clam of flat Earth. And whenever you look at the flat Earth topic, a lot of the Christians that were going there, they were there, just like Rob Skiba, sharing their faith about how the flat Earth has unpacked and opened up the scriptures and drawn us into a deeper faith and understanding and belief in Yeshua. And I think
I just want to mention up, once there were all kinds of times when Oren, my partner, the Yeshua believer, was fighting with this guy and everything, and he used to tell him and of course the other guy that I'm talking about, he was a big Rob Skiba fan as well, and so Oren used to tell him what you can all the time, you're Rob Skiba's fan regarding flat Earth, and you keep quoting him, but do you know that he's a Yeshua believer himself? So how do you so you have to resolve this contradiction between yourself, okay?
Wow, I think that's so hilarious. And hearing your testimony is really makes me feel more connected with you. While the flat Earth belief is a very important conspiracy and interesting, I think seeing your journey of truth from discovering flat Earth to then finding the truth of the New Testament and Yeshua, and I think that is all the more of a connection between our channel, Skiba News Nation, and yours, Ish News, and Esh News, and Esh News. Sorry,
because Ish News, it could be right as well, because Ish in Hebrew is a person. So it's a person. So and I told you before that I'm doing everything over here. So it's one person news. So it's
one person news. Oh man, and just your connection with what you shared in your first topics you talked about, which was the impact of the events that were happening around you, and then the significance of using creativity to kind of fight back against the despair that's being punched out, and then you kind of put the cap on it with your last segment there, talking about your faith in Yeshua and the importance of sharing that around the world, and kind of the ripple waves of our actions with the people that we interact with is so significant, because it kind of gives you a motivation for those creative pursuits, which it's it's really amazing kind of how you likened your personal interactions with the ripple wave effects of your story is the one that you write based on your actions and your words, and we don't know the far-reaching implications of our actions in the world. So you're sharing like, what if I'm responsible because I didn't take this step to fight back against the Yeshua deniers? Perhaps that ripple effect reached to the point where we have all this war and destruction and death. And I think that's a profound thought process, because the individual impact of a person can be incredible, I believe. And so I agree with you on that account, because if people woke up to the realization of the way of Yeshua and belief and faith in him as the Messiah and as the example for how we're to walk out our faith and interaction with the Almighty, I think the world would be a very different place. And I think it's very significant what you're pointing out, because part of the deception, I believe, with the modern kind of Zionistic support of Israel in the modern Christian church in the United States is a lot of money is being funneled to Israel because people want to support Jews, but they don't realize they're pouring money into organizations that hate anybody who believes in Yeshua. They're pouring money into organizations that push the propaganda you're talking about that even impacted you. And I think having you on the show and as an example of somebody who has been personally affected by that propaganda is really profound, and helps show people that might not be aware of that situation. And so I wanted to ask you, so is it true that more and more people of the Jewish faith are recognizing and reading the New Testament and recognizing Yeshua? And what does that look like right now in the midst of all of these conspiracies and disasters and, COVID, the last few years, and now we have war and all this stuff? Is the trauma and the drama pushing more people to seek for the truth and finding Yeshua?
Okay, I'll tell you what, regarding if you describe it as an expanded group or something which is like happening over here, like a movement of what I said over here, no, it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening because we are very small. There are very few that hold the opinions that I shared with you today, because it's very hard. It's very hard under the Israeli religious indoctrination to do those kind of things, and not to be to bump into all kinds of obstacles on the way that will interfere with this mission. I wanted to elaborate about something else. No, okay, never mind. I think that we will. I will want to conclude this show with a prayer that I prepared and that I will read. Okay, but but we're gonna start it off with like a cooperative prayer, which is based, Jeremiah and dear Jake, on a scene from one of my favorite movies, Rocky III. All right, there is this scene over there where Mickey passed away, and they are like in the cemetery
Mausoleum.
or whatever, they're burying Mickey, and then like the rabbi over there is coming to Rocky, and he's like telling him to say the prayer that I wrote down in the letter this week, which and then like Sylvester Stallone is like repeating after him this prayer. The thing is that me and my girlfriend were like over here in my place on Friday evening, before this thing started on Saturday morning, and we were like watching Rocky III, and we were like watching this scene, and was like singing, and then we're watching like Sylvester Stallone trying to speak Hebrew and laughing, it's funny that he tried to speak Hebrew and that, and like once like there was like Saturday morning and all the terrible things that happened, and over here to this show and everything. So kind of like reminded me on that sentence and that scene from that movie. Okay, so it all looked to me very much fitting. I want you to repeat after me for the first sentence, and then I will begin my prayer. Okay. Now about the characters. So if I'm like Jewish and I know Hebrew, so I'm like the rabbi, and you guys can decide who's like Rocky and Adrian, and I don't know, maybe Mickey is maybe it's Rob or something like that.
I'll be Mickey.
You'll be Mickey. Okay. Right. So yeah, עושה שלום במרומיו. Please repeat after me.
Okay.
העושה שלום במרומיו.
Asher
העושה
ben
שלום.
It's too fast.
Shalom.
העושה שלום במרומיו.
Asher
הוא יעשה
shalom belamav.
Shalom.
במרומיו. הוא יעשה
Who yase?
Hu yaseh.
שלום עלינו
Shalom
Shalom alenu.
ועל כל ישראל.
Valkol
Val kol Yisrael.
ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
Vamu amen.
Amen. Okay, great. Thank you for your cooperation. Dear Father, I want to thank you for bringing me to Skiba's News Nation today. The words I shared with your believers today were inspired by you, the way I understood them. Thank you for the opportunity to spread your word, and thank you for letting me closing the circle with Rav Skiba, Zichrono Livracha, by beginning a new circle with a friendship with his son, Jeremiah. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Father. Father, you probably know we are in a hard time, but I guess that all this suffer and cruelty and pain that we're seeing down here on your flat earth over the last week is pretty small comparing to the wars and fights that you are doing in this very moment. So I want to encourage you, Father, to fight well and bring peace back to the land and days. I'm standing by your side as you stood by my side whenever I needed you. For those who were killed during the last week, please, Father, accept them to your heavenly kingdom so they can live their eternal life beside you. They had no sin. Their heart was pure while they were killed. They are the sacrifice. As you sacrificed your son, and as Abraham wanted to sacrifice his son Isaac. So accept this sacrifice for our sins, please, Father. For those being captured and now being tortured, raped, and dehumanized by soulless beings at these moments, Father, please ease their pain and suffer if they're about to join you as well. Make their suffer short and quiet. And if not, please bring them back to their home with their families soon. For all the shocked, heartbroken people of Israel, please, Father, open their eyes for the devil's deception. The key to the victory for our side of good lays in the understanding of the great spell which is being casted on the Israeli people, a spell which blinds their eyes, seeing who their real enemy is. Again and again, the people of Israel are sinning against you, with believing false gods and psychopaths being controlled by demons. Please, Father, open their eyes to the devil's work and accepting the fact we are in the spiritual battle with entities and principles not of this world. With your help, Father, they won't be afraid to fight them by your side. For Jeremiah, Skiba, Sheila, and Jake, Grant, and and the other assistant, I can't remember his name,
Opa.
and the whole Skiba family. You touched my heart during the last week with your prayers and cares. God, I want you to know you have a great army of truthers serving you. Acknowledge them and love them in ways only you know how. Make them partners to their brothers, believers in Israel, so we can abolish together the denial of your son's name here in the Holy Land. For my children, my family, friends, beautiful inside and out girlfriend Oli, thank you for keeping them alive and safe here with me. I know that they are suffering as much as I am, so thank you for your patience and love. And Father, if you already decided to keep me here for now, I would humbly ask you to give me the inspiration and the ability to continue on creating in your name, in your word, and for your glory. The creation enables me to connect with you and fills my life with truth, love, care, tender, friends, happiness, giving, and much more. So thank you, Father. Keep them coming. In Yeshua's names we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
And we'll stay in
Yes.
touch. We'll stay in
We'll
touch.
stay in touch, of course. Yeah, we'll stay in touch.
All right, man.
No worries.